I was interested earlier by the stat 54% of investments make no return, which, if that's right, I'm doing an extraordinarily bad job on my portfolio. I'm interested to hear what the panel think about that number.
Yeah. But 80% of restaurants fail in the first 2 years, so it seems pretty good to me. But we've been around now for 7 or 8 years. But yeah, I was shocked by that number as well. But it's got to be, for me, it's about having the controls in the business and you know, efficient systems in place, I suppose, to manage those. In my industry, where 80% fail, to be that 20%, you've got to be really bloody good, I guess.
Graham, 80% of the companies on your platform fail?
Well, we haven't had a default yet, but it's obviously early stage. One thing I found quite interesting is one company on our platform came to us for lending and then went straight on to a crowdfunding site to raise equity. And I think that's a very interesting route for raising equity from the company's point of view, because what you're doing is you're spreading the equity among a huge number of people who therefore have very, very little leverage on what you then do. So as opposed to going and getting an angel investor who's going to want to get very involved and you've got to get on with him, if you actually go onto this crowdfunding site where there are, 50, 60,000 people all signed up waiting to put 15, 20 pounds in, then you can get access to the money with very little loss of control. I mean, I think the average amount invested through Crowdcube now has gone up to about above 1,000.
Yeah.
But
you know, you've got quite a few businesses that you've been involved in. So let me get you counted 7 and you're a new one 8. So approximately one of them should succeed.
Exactly, and that's actually how. And I will obviously not disclose names, but there's about 2 that are looking like they're going to fail, and there's one that is rocketing, and the others are kind of struggling SME potentials, and I think that I have a slightly better than average ratio because I made it my job to manage it. So it was kind of expected. I think that if you invest half blinded behind a syndicate, that's probably what you get. That's a 50 to 60% failure rate. And I don't think that changes anywhere in the world, by the way.
I think it's a bit of a dumb stat if you ask my opinion. You may not be asking my opinion.
Steve, sure.
In that actually, whether a company fails or not is almost irrelevant from an entrepreneur's perspective. I'm more interested to know how many entrepreneurs fail, and by fail, what I think that means is how many entrepreneurs stop being an entrepreneur. Because ultimately, we all know we're going to be building things. We all know most of those things aren't going to work, but actually it's the point when we stop building things that really, we fail. And in terms of investment, at what point do we stop backing those people?
And therein speaks an entrepreneur.